It began on a cold autumn evening in 2003. A young woman vanishes without a trace, leaving behind only a half-empty cup of coffee and a set of car keys still in the ignition. For 2 decades, the case sat in a dusty police archive, haunting the small town where it happened. No witnesses. No suspects. No closure. Until one ordinary morning, a phone call changed everything. The disappearance of Emily Carter shook the quiet town of Brooksville, Maine. She was 24, a waitress at the local diner, known for her easy smile and habit of writing short poems on napkins for customers. On October 17, 2003, she left work at 9:15 p.m., telling her coworker she was headed straight home. But Emily never made it. Police found her car parked just off Route 6, driver's door open, headlights still on. Inside were her purse, wallet, and phone, nothing stolen. It looked less like a robbery, and more like she simply stepped out and vanished. Detectives combed the woods, drained nearby ponds, and questioned dozens of residents. Rumors spread quickly. Some whispered she run away to escape a secret lover, others believed she was kidnapped. The only piece of physical evidence? A single muddy footprint, size 12, found near the car. It belonged to a brand of work boot sold in thousands of stores across the country, a dead end. Over the years, the case went cold. Emily's parents passed away never knowing what happened to their daughter. The town moved on, or at least, pretended to. But Detective Mark Holloway, who had been a rookie on the case in 2003, couldn't forget. Even after he retired in 2019, he kept Emily's file in his home office, occasionally flipping through the faded pages, hoping for something to jump out. In early 2023, Brooksville PD announced a partnership with a genetic genealogy lab. They began retesting old evidence using new DNA technology that hadn't existed in 2003. From the muddy footprint surrounding soil, technicians extracted microscopic skin cells, so degraded they were useless back then. No. They were a goldmine. The DNA was uploaded to a genealogy database, and within weeks, a match appeared. It wasn't a criminal, but a distant cousin. Through family trees and old census records, investigators narrowed it down to one man, Daniel Rowe, a truck driver who had lived in Brooksville in 2003. When detectives tracked Rowe down in another state, he was stunned. At first, he denied even knowing Emily. But confronted with the DNA evidence, his story crumbled. Rowe confessed. He had offered Emily a ride that night when her car broke down, except it hadn't. He lured her into his truck, drove her to an abandoned farm, and when she resisted his advances, he panicked and killed her. For 20 years, he lived freely, believing he erased every trace. He never knew the skin cells on his boots would betray him decades later. Rowe led police to a shallow grave deep in the forest. Inside were the remains of Emily Carter, still wearing the necklace her mother had given her for her birthday. Brooksville gathered for a memorial service that felt both heartbreaking and healing. For the first time in 2 decades, people spoke Emily's name without whispers. The case of Emily Carter is a reminder that time can bury the truth. But sometimes, time is also the very thing that brings it back to light. In the end, it wasn't a witness, a confession, or a lucky break that solved the mystery. It was science. A single microscopic clue, ignored for years, gave a voice to the girl who had been silent for far too long. And in the quiet streets of Brooksville, justice finally came, 20 years late, but not too late.